There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
For decades, installers have looked towards Prestige to be their go-to brand when it comes to remote starter season and security for that matter, whether it's the dependable platform or the dynamic selection of remotes such as the RF kits, including LoRa features. Prestige is certainly something that is very important to our industry and really, really is dependent upon to have a successful remote starter season. This is CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM Prestige, and it starts now. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and of course, we're talking remote start. Yes, the leaves are slowly starting to change in some parts of the country, and that brisk air spells remote starter season. So of course, if we're going to talk about remote starter season, we can't help but include Prestige into the mix. Why? Well, it's just one of those brands that have been around and has stood the test of time, and it continues to innovate and offer an amazing solution for dealers everywhere. So today, we've got a couple interesting specialists coming onto our show today. Of course, we're going to have the Vice President of Vehicle Security himself from Vox Electronics, Mr. Joe Dentamaro. Let's get him into the studio. What's going on, Joe?
How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good afternoon, everyone.
I know this is your favorite time of year. There's no doubt about it. It's remote starter season. And we're talking about a brand that I know that you kind of hold near and dear as well. You know, you've always been an advocate of this brand for the right reason. So if I were to ask you, Joe, you know, what makes Prestige one of those popular choices that dealers continue to depend on year after year?
Yeah, so, you know, the Prestige lineup are obviously mostly analog products, and we'll go through some of those today when we get through the presentation. But, you know, rock solid, long history of the brand. We started Mr. Shalom and Vox back in Audio Vox days, started with Prestige in 1965. So there's been a lot of innovation since then, obviously, but just it's rock solid product. And, you know, we keep updating and innovating the RF designs on it to make them more relevant today. And last year, Dan Biseglia, one of my product managers, made a bunch of additional updates to the software and the firmware of the product to make it a little bit more relevant for today's market as well. So again, just superior product, rock solid reliability, and great entry-level price points for the product.
Awesome. Of course, we're going to expect a full line kind of presentation coming from you shortly after our little introduction portion of the show. But before we do that, let's get it out there because it's a repetitive message that we want to make sure dealers are aware of. It's important that they know because there's been some important changes made as far as Canadian distribution of Vox products, of course, Prestige included. Can you shed some light on that for us?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, when we acquired Directed a couple of years ago, we're just on our 2-year anniversary now. We were reviewing the Canadian market. We were dealing with the issues with the pandemic and inventory and everything. So we were taking our time through that phase over the last couple of years. And, you know, we started looking at the different ways to go to market in Canada, direct people, different rep firms. And we had a very, very long relationship with a rock solid rep firm and distributor in Canada called Gemsen. I'm sure you're familiar with Gemsen. and we entered into our formal agreement with Michael Connor and the team at Gemsen. I believe it was January of this year. So Gemsen has been the rep for us in Canada since January of all the Vox products, directed, and our core Vox products of Prestige, Pursuit, our ADAS, mobile video, everything that we offer Vox. So we're really excited about having Gemsen on board.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm pretty sure they're excited about this partnership as well. And I guess to affirm that, we're going to invite our next guest to the studio. He's the Business Development Manager for Gemsen, and his name is Danny Prezo.
Good morning, Ben. How are you?
Danny, good to have you back.
It's already past lunch now.
Well, it is, but good to have you back here. We're talking Prestige today, but I thought, and I think everybody's in agreement that, it's important that we continue messaging the new, I guess, landscape of things when it comes to Vox in Canada. So why don't you first start by just defining what exactly is your role with Gemsen?
Well, initially I was thinking I was going to have to put out a whole bunch of fires, but I know, Vox, since they acquired DEI, have had some, issues with, COVID and getting product and so on. So I was kind of initially thinking that's what was going to happen, but that really, Vox really has their things together, and it's really been a smooth transition. So my main role is to, support all of the Vox DEI brands across the country, and support all the distributors and the retailers, and also support the Gemsen sales team and keep them up to speed on all the brands and any changes, and basically look after any issues that comes up. So. And it's really been very smooth. I mean, I guess at Gemsen, we're blessed to have a real fantastic, knowledgeable sales team across the country, and they're pretty much self-starters, and they really don't need a lot of assistance from me. But my phone's always on, and I'm always here to help them out and take care of their issues if there is any.
Yeah, and I know today we're talking about Prestige, but as Joe had alluded to, I mean, Gemsen is responsible for much more than just Prestige. We're talking the directed lineup. We're talking all the in-house Vox brands, including the ADAS product as well. That's quite an undertaking for you, is it not, Danny?
Absolutely, but I mean, I've been in this industry for a long time. Like Prestige is kind of a brand that I used to really be annoyed back in the 90s because I was trying to sell against it, and I mean, they had just such rock solid product. I was kind of second in line. So to be responsible for the brand in Canada now, it's pretty exciting because, like Joe said, I mean, it started back in the late 60s, and I mean, it still survived today. There's not a lot of brands of product that could say that, especially in this industry. So it's really nice to see that Prestige is still alive and strong in North America.
I think those that were responsible for the brand over the years have done a great job keeping it in a constant evolution, keeping up with the times. Like Joe had mentioned, just last year, Daniel updated a lot of things that we're going to get into. And just as a caveat, I have kind of an attachment to Prestige, just so you know. When I started out in my 12-volt career, first alarm I ever installed was a Prestige unit back in like the 90s, just for the...
I mean, a lot of guys like you when I travel.
Yeah, it's true, though. I mean, it was kind of the go-to. It was not the hardest one to put in. It was reliable. That's what it went with, and worked. Most importantly, it worked. It didn't have the fancy remotes that we're going to talk about today, but it worked. So that was the most important part. Joe, break it down for us. What are we going to go over today?
So we're going to go through some of the products in Prestige, the full lineup of Prestige, some of the key models. Like I said, unfortunately, Dan couldn't be with me today. He's traveling right now. He's on a plane, but I'm going to do my best to go through some of the technical features that Dan updated for everybody on Prestige last year. So it's not new. Everybody on Prestige would have realized these feature updates that we made last year. Go through the different RF kits that we have that obviously apply to the Prestige brand, but also how they interface with the digital remote start product on the Vox side, which is our Flash Logic brand. We'll talk a little bit about CarLink and our telematics offering on the Vox side, and then some updates that we're going to make for next year for the Prestige line to complement it even further. So
very cool. All right, guys, strap in, get out your notepad. You want to know what's going on with Prestige, Joe, and and then you're going to take it away. Go ahead, guys.
Yep. All right, cool. So getting right into it. So let me see. Having a technical difficulty. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. So first up in the Vox lineup in Prestige, the APS 997 ZLR. So when we get into the different groupings of product we have it set up with security and remote start or remote start with keyless entry, and vehicle security. These next three slides are the key models within those groups. So the 997 ZLR was added last year to the lineup. It's a LoRa-based product, which gets up to 3 miles of range. And the real cool part about the ZLR is it started for us as the second companion remote with our two-way products of being a two-way transmitter as well, not a one-way. So on the ZLR, anything with LoRa that you'll see when I go through the product lineup, all the companion remotes are also two-way. So that's been a really cool part of the product. These modules in all the security, remote start, and keyless. We have a couple of exceptions with some entry level SKUs, but all have our FL cart port. You may know those as the Blade, but this handles our Flash Logic FL cart on the 997 ZLR as well. We then go down into some of the higher volume products. Certainly in the analog market, they have very aggressive price points, and here in the States, these are probably our highest volume remote start products when we get into this time of year. But the APS 57 TM, there used to be the APS 57Z. It was updated to the TM last year, and that update that was made to the product at that point was to add again the FL cart port to give you two forms of interface. So you can either use the basic FL CAN and plug it in, or cleaner install and use the FL cart port here. But a very rock solid, aggressively priced remote start with keyless entry system. And then to complement that as well, so if you looked at like a product lineup at retail, a good, better, best kind of remote start offering, the APS 901 TM. And this is a one button start system. Again, used to be the 901Z. When it was updated to the TM, it incorporated the FL cart port as well. We then get into, again, those are the three key models within the lineup. We then get into the full lineup of product. And like I said, we have this broken down into security and remote start, and security. But to headline the product in the remote start and security family, we also have the APS 997Z, which is very similar to the ZLR, except it's not LoRa based. This gets over 1,500 feet of range, over a quarter-mile range that we call it on the 997Z, and the APS 787Z, which is a one-way remote start and security combo system as well. So again, really good choices when you want to add security to remote start. And we've always talked about security, and different retailers are successful than other retailers. Excuse me. But in this environment, certainly in the last year or so, with the high theft rates and increase in theft all over the place, you get the customer that wants the convenience aspect, convenience and comfort of adding a remote start to their car, and then upselling them to what we call a combo, or something that comes with security, is a little bit easier to do today with all the theft that's going on. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're selling a remote start this season.
Mm-hmm.
We then get into,
if you don't mind me in, is the manual transmission. I mean, not all brands out there anymore really support the manual transmission. So that's a fantastic feature that is almost taken for granted, but it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. The APS RS3Z and 1Z, again, remote start with keyless and a remote start only product. These are our entry level price points in the Prestige lineup. Again, rock solid product, really aggressive price points, really good to have on special for Black Friday or any type of special that you'd want to do throughout the season. And then we get into our security products, which, Prestige is long history of vehicle security and Prestige. We've kind of whittled it down to three systems. Again, a good, better, best type of scenario. We have a two-way LCD in the 596Z, and then the 510Z is an upgrade security, adds additional outputs. If you want to do sliding doors or something like that, it gives you the extra auxiliary outputs there. And then truly our flagship in vehicle security, the APS-25Z. The APS-25 has been around for decades. It's gone through a bunch of last digit changes from E to N to Z to all the different variations that we've had with the product. But again, we just keep updating it and adding new updates to the transmitters and things as such like that.
Yeah, and Joe, the transmitters are really, it's a nice family look, and they're very modern looking, which is what's the demand in the marketplace. And realistically, the consumer doesn't care what's happening under the dash. It's all about the remote.
Yeah, for sure. We take that, the product development group, we're constantly looking at transmitters and developments and new technologies and things to keep making improvements to the product.
Yeah.
On the Prestige lineup as well, we have the Vox SEC. This is a component-based product, so this can be used as a standalone alarm to operate off the factory keyless entry system. So you can enhance a vehicle that comes with factory keyless entry and add the Vox SEC to provide additional security protection for the vehicle. And you could also add one of the RF kits that we'll show you here in a second. If you want to offer something different, two-way LED security, maybe a two-way rechargeable security, or one-way, something that we don't offer in the full kit platform. In the RF kits, we probably, of all the brands that we have within my group and the security group, whether it's on the Vox side or the directed side, we probably have the most SKUs in RF kits in the Prestige lineup. So one thing I wanted to point out to everyone, if you're not aware of this yet, when you see the LoRa tag, excuse me, the LoRa tag on the RF kits, that second remote, that companion remote, will always be a two-way LED transmitter as well. So not only do you get the LoRa long range over 3 miles, but the secondary companion remote is also two-way. Today, the Prestige RF kits are compatible, obviously, with the Vox SEC component module that I just showed you, and our Flash Logic digital remote start product, the FLRS-BA. And we're working today, a little bit of an announcement, but next year, for next season, all of the Prestige RF kits will be compatible with our directed digital platform product, the DS3, DS4. So you'll be able to use Prestige with the directed product as well. So that's a little bit exciting for us as well going into next remote start season. Going into some of the updates, can't see that very well, but some of the updates that we implemented last year, and again, I'll briefly go through these. All of the updates are obviously on Vox University. I'll talk about Vox University when we get to tech support in a little bit. But again, these were made last year, so all the product information, all the manuals, the wire charts, all the feature update sheets and everything are all on the Vox University. So you can go through that at your leisure and read through all the updates that were made. Again, just briefly, some of them, programmable input controls. We added some input controls to provide additional flexibility. So again, you can do different things and program and configure the module in different ways. But these were all added again last year. Again, just cleaning things up. Ground while armed or disarm output. We added additional options here to give you more flexibility with the product as well through the models that you'll see on the bottom left, mostly the security based modules in remote start or security. We preset the dome light delay timer. So there's, again, a bunch of features added to give the installer more flexibility when configuring and programming the module. Selectable arm trigger length. Again, these were added again in more options to give that flexibility when you're doing the installation. Just bringing it update a little bit more current to the marketplace. The selectable temperature start, we cleaned that up a lot. It's available when you go in and do the feature programming in the banks. We set the different temperature options to give more flexibility when you're setting it up to different temperature levels. And again, you'll see those are on the LCD based products as well.
Joe, that's a real important feature for the northern markets in Canada, at the oil fields and stuff, because a lot of these guys, they kind of have to set their alarm to remote start their car in the middle of the night. And if they don't, their car won't start the next morning. So if this can be automated, that's a very cool feature.
Yeah. And it ties right into the smart timer update that Dan made last year as well to the product. So we just added, again, more flexibility for being set up at time of installation. So, you could set the 2 or 4 hour timer, and then tie that in with the temp sensor for every 2 or 4 hours. So again, it just gives a lot more flexibility than just having something preset and that's it. Remote start service mode. So again, we put a mode in. Again, you should always have a pin switch or a rollerball switch in. So when the hood's up, you can't remote start it. But we also put in basically a mode to disable the remote start. You can put in during, again, consumer can do it in programming to deactivate the remote start if they're bringing the car in for service. Not, again, just a little more flexibility.
So you're telling me that not all installers install hood switches?
I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
yeah. So we also updated the default runtime, which again is programmable and selectable, but we upgraded it to 15 minutes as the default. You can obviously go in and adjust that in programming to your desired liking. And we've also updated the diesel timer to include a 5-second time start. That was a Canadian requested feature for exactly those situations that Danny was speaking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Keyless entry mode. So this was another cool feature that we added last year on the APS 901 to not only be able to do remote start, but you could also do lock and unlock. So this is programmable. So you can just do it as start. You could do it as remote start and keyless all through a one button transmitter. So again, just another cool little feature that was added to the product. And then we made a programmable feature with LED off with ignition on. This would just eliminate any annoying LED flashes that may come up on the antenna inside the car. So you could turn that off when the ignition is on, the LED is inoperable at that point. So that kind of went through, again, some of the technical feature updates. I know I didn't do those justice for you guys, so I apologize for that. But again, if you go to the Vox University, you can see all of that on the wire diagrams and the product update charts that are there. Last couple of things on the actual flash, on the Prestige lineup and the Vox side of the security and remote start category. I want to talk a little bit about our telematics offering for the Vox side and our digital remote start platforms on the Vox side. So in telematics, it's CarLink. Most people should be familiar with the CarLink brand. It's been around for a long time. We have three products in CarLink. We have our ASCL6, which is our cellular-based telematics offering, so smartphone control, obviously lock the door, unlock the door, remote start the vehicle, temperature updates, status updates, basic tracking, all done through the ASCL6. And then we have two really cool products, which we launched about 3 years ago in the CarLink offering. They're called CarLink Long Range. So it's I like to refer to it as almost like a repeater. It has your smartphone and it has a transmitter. So the smartphone talks to the transmitter via Bluetooth. So if you have your transmitter on your keychain, in your pocket, purse, whatever, when you hit the lock button, your smartphone sends a signal to the transmitter, and then the transmitter transmits the signal to the vehicle over LoRa long range. So again, you're in that 3-mile range of operation. The really cool part about it is there's no monthly, no annual, no fees at all. So you get it's like telematics on training wheels. So a guy doesn't really want to commit to a telematics device and a monthly or annual fee. It gives you the opportunity and ability to offer telematics without any additional fees to the product. We have two products in the lineup. The first one, the ASCL BTLR, is a one-button transmitter that comes to it, and then a patented design that we did a few years ago is the credit card remote. So again, same one-button remote, but it's shaped as a credit card. It's about 3 credit cards thick, easily put in your wallet. So again, you don't have to have something else hanging on your keychain. When we introduce this, we do very, very well with the credit card remote today. Again, it also has a button on it, so you could operate it as a one-button remote. So again, a great product to look at and to complement the Prestige lineup in telematics. Any one of the three products, to be honest with you. So that's it on the telematics side. On the FlashLogic side, FlashLogic has been our digital remote start product for the core Vox product for, I don't know, 15, maybe 15, 18 years now. We've done very well with the FlashLogic brand. We continue to update and improve, whether it's the T-harness selection, the new WebLink hub that we'll talk about later this year, and continue to improve on that category of product with our friends at ADS. So the FL CAN and FL Cart are very instrumental in interface modules to go with any of our analog products. Of course, the FL Cart would be on those products that have the cart port. And then for the digital remote start, the FLRSBA. We also have still within the FlashLogic lineup that we do very well with. We call them data start modules. A lot of people call them the small box, but it's a dedicated remote start module and T-harness in a box for select vehicles. So we have GM, Ford, Chrysler applications and do extremely well with that product as well. So again, any of the Vox products that we went through today, both in the Prestige stuff, CarLink, FlashLogic, you can see all of that at voxelectronics.com. Get more information there, or of course, contacting Gemsen. And again, like I said earlier when we started, Gemsen now represents Vox for all of our products for Canada. And their contact information is there. Any of you guys that have done business with Danny in the past or know Danny, you can reach out directly to Danny as well. But sales@gemsen.com for any information about becoming a dealer or any product information, on all of our accessories, or you may be doing Prestige already and want to talk to Danny about ADAS or mobile video or something like that, just sales@gemsen.com will get you right there. On the tech side, we're real excited about some of um, the future that we did with tech support over the last 5 or 6 years by, our VoxTech Facebook forum has been great. We're a little hesitant about that in the beginning. It's kind of one of those things where you be careful what you wish for. A lot of people like to use social media and these forums as a soapbox, but even with that, it's great to see a community being built and a lot of interaction between technicians out there. I mean, the questions that are asked are always fantastic questions, and before our own techs are even able to answer the question, we'll have other Vox customers from around the country, around the world for that matter, jumping online and answering the question for a customer. I'm also very happy and excited that we maintain such a large support staff on the technical side at Vox. Eddie Catapano heads up that group for us, and I don't have the exact number, but it's close to 20 guys that we have Vox employee bodies that are manning the phone, go out and do technical trainings that are always there to help our dealer. Again, whether it's on the directed side, the Vox side, all the guys come together, work with each other. So it's really exciting.
I think Joe, it's absolutely fantastic. The Vox Tech on Facebook, my heart goes out to all the installers out there that just in their own free time they are helping other installers to keep this industry moving forward. It's just absolutely amazing to me that the guys do they step up and they help, like you were saying, even before our own tech support can answer, another installer that's gone through that exact same issue will get helped by a complete stranger, and it really keeps everything moving forward. It's just mind-boggling to me that they do that.
Yeah, I saw a post a couple of weeks ago, and a guy was frustrated with a certain vehicle application, and there were a lot of comments from all over the place, ideas on what he could try, what would work, what they did in the past, and I made a comment on the post when we got to the done when it was done. The last comments were there, and I said that's what separates a technician from an installer, that they were able to work through this and figure it out. And that's what a technician does, right? It's just not, an installer opens a box, reads the instructions, and throws it in. They know, all the idiosyncrasies around a different vehicle or the electronic system to get there. And if you don't, again, that's what all of our guys are there for, is to help get you there. They might not have the answer all the time, but we'll go out of our way to help you get there. So I'm really proud of that whole group and the work that team does together. Another valuable resource in the Vox family is our Vox University. I can't stress this enough. A lot of the requests I get, I'll get emails, phone calls, stuff on the forums and stuff for information, whether it's catalogs, price sheets, product specs, advertising, logos, different things. All you got to do is sign up to the Vox University. There is so much information there. That's why it's called the university. So all you got to do is go to voxuniversity.com, sign up, and open the door for a lot of technical information that's available for all of our dealers there. But again, product information, product specs, marketing, advertising, everything's there on the university in one place. It's really great. The tech support lines still remain 1-800-421-3209. That's one of our old code alarm tech support numbers that still work today. The tech support is open Monday through Friday. These are all Eastern time zones, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that's really great. As soon as we get into remote start season, when everybody's going to have cars lined up out of their shops and jamming remote starts, to have that support right there for you. So, that's it from the prestige perspective. I hope we covered any question that you had. But again, the Facebook forum, you can reach out to me directly. You can reach out to Danny, the folks at Gemsen, and answer any additional questions that you may have on anything Vox, specifically Prestige.
That was great, Joe. I even learned a few things, and I'm an old guy.
I learned a lot, and of course, I have some questions for you. I'm sure that comes to no surprise. So, one of the one things I wanted to talk about,
we don't see you.
What's that?
We don't see you.
I see you.
Oh yeah, there I am. You see me? I'm waving at you, Danny. One of the questions I had, Joe, was, inventory obviously seems to be healthier. We talked about that already, but there may have been a little bit of a slow start or a hesitancy to book maybe a little deeper than retailers should. I wanted to ask this question out of the gate. In your experience, obviously in sales, if you were to kind of suggest a booking order for a dealer right now with regards to the Prestige lineup, what would that kind of look like?
Yeah, so on Prestige, again, we have specials out there all the time. We're running little pop-up specials from time to time that the folks at Gemsen can go over with dealers and stuff. But for this remote start season and everything that's been happening with the economy and gas prices and all that kind of stuff, I still think there's still some fear in the dealer's mind on what's this year going to look like. And I think what compounds that fear is it's 80 degrees outside, right? 80, 90. Last night in Michigan, where I am, it was a little cool last night. But, I still think, sitting here right now, it may seem, do I want to load up 500 remote starts, 300 remote starts, 1,000 remote starts in early September? The only thing I could tell dealers, we do this every year. We look at the Farmer's Almanac and we look at long-term weather forecast. I've been doing this since 1980, and I don't know, that's 40-something years, right? I could tell you within those 40 years, winter has always come. There's never been a year where winter avoided
It's never skipped a year, has it?
No, it's never taken a day off. So, it's going to come. The $60,000 question is, when is that going to come? Is it going to come October? Is it going to come November? Everything that I'm hearing about is going to be a cold winter this year. So what we did at Vox was, unfortunately for us, with the lead times of components and everything, we don't have the luxury of placing an order tomorrow for something, right? We got to go 6 months out, 7 months out, 8 months out in some cases. Some chips have a 52-week lead time. Wow. So, we're doing projections based on rubbing my crystal ball a year from now, right? We're, knock on wood, Vox is a very healthy company, and we have the relationship with our suppliers to go out and acquire long lead time parts. We never want to go back to where we were last year, when we got caught, where everybody got caught and got blindsided by the shortages and everything that happened with the pandemic. It's impossible for us to say that'll never happen again. We're still dealing with issues, supply chain issues on a daily basis. But I can tell you, we do have inventory right now. So my advice and suggestion for every dealer out there would be, look at what you did last year, look at the position your company should be in this year, and just plan accordingly, and start bringing in some inventory. I can't imagine remote start season going away, and it's a product that is comfort and convenience for a consumer, right? So, you go walking out of your house today, 80 degrees, 70 in the morning, whatever, and it's like, I don't need to remote start my car. But I guarantee you, when it's 20 degrees out or 10 below out, and you got to get out there and scrape ice off your windows, customers are going to want to buy a remote start. And, the one thing we've always seen with remote start, and, it helps breed longevity into this category for us. The older person today, had a remote start on their car. They traded in their car. They've given the car to a younger person in the family. They're buying them a used car. They're familiar with remote start. So we're doing a lot more used car remote start installation still. So again, it's still a great category for us, for the retailers out there. It's a great profit center for the retailers. I just, long answer to your question, but I just urge everybody, again, not trying to scare people into ordering product, but do the math. It's going to come. Right?
Yeah, it's going to come.
If I can make a quick point, the saving grace is I'm still a strong believer that it's not a remote start is not something that people want. It's something that people still need. One saving grace now that moving into the season is the fuel prices are coming back down, so that kind of thing is off the table now. Consumers need remote starters. It's kind of like a culture in Canada mainly.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon.
Actually, I look at my neighbors funny, those that don't have one.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you scraping your window?
Yeah.
Well, to that note, I mean, I'm still amazed when I'm in a parking lot and I start my car by remote start, and still see people looking at the car like, what are you doing? Right. So that's just a great message to all the retailers listening in. Continue to post on social media, continue to advertise. Not everybody knows about it.
It's funny,
believe it or not.
Funny enough. Wanted to skip quickly to you spent some time talking about the Vox group, the technician group on Facebook, as well as the university. Wanted to comment on those two. I've been on the group. Man, what I like the best, there's people that actually post new discoveries even before anybody asks about it, which I think is fantastic. Like, hey, just that this new vehicle is the first one you did, this worked, just so you guys know. That's number one. Number two, man, the communication, cross-pollination between the American and the Canadian techs on there is seamless. Like, it doesn't matter what side you're on. A remote start is a remote start, and that information seems to flow borderless, which I wanted to commend. On the university side, I don't want to hear from dealers how companies such as Vox aren't supporting them, because that university site, there's a lot of effort put into that. You need images for local advertising in your newspapers, or you want to make a poster, or you need, shots, cut out shots of products, either the remote. It's all there. Like, don't email, sign up, go get it. We ourselves go there to get the logos and images that we need when we're doing stuff with Vox, just so you know. So I wanted to say that to support what Joe was saying there. Danny, you sat through that presentation with Joe did as much as I did. What was some of the key features that you kind of was taking away from that presentation that you want to kind of highlight?
How much time do you have? An hour, or can you only give me a couple of minutes?
Oh, I don't know what happened to your mic, but it's kind of fuzzy. Your mic just got fuzzy. You want to disconnect and come back real quick, Danny?
I really think that
he was being serious.
I'm being serious. Your mic is fuzzy, actually.
Testing 1 2 3.
No, it's fuzzy. Can I get you to reconnect? And I'm going to continue with Joe on the next question. I'll circle back with you. All right, Joe.
Yes,
while we're waiting for Danny to come back on that, you mentioned something that I felt like you snuck under the carpet, but I caught it, so I want to come back to it.
You always do.
Yeah, well, I pay attention, right? Did you say that you're working on getting compatibility between Prestige RF kits and directed digital kits?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, can you explain that a little bit? Like, what's the end goal there?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, we acquired DEI. We do a substantial amount of business in digital remote start. So we want to give the option for those customers using the DS4, the DS3, any of those platform of digital starters to be able to have the full lineup, right? So It's not just Prestige. We were talking about Prestige today, but we also have our Pursuit line, which is our version of Prestige that we use for Expediter. But again, the product development team is hard at work updating those transmitters so we can use it on the directed side as well. So that just gives us the ability to broaden the amount of digital starters and how we see the digital starter. We've done a bunch of these, and I continue to say for Vox, the future of security and remote start, and I'm not planning on being finished personally anytime soon, but the future for us is in the digital security and remote start category, right? And that for us, that's a DS3, DS4, DB3, those products. So we just have to keep that proliferation of RF kits going to support that category. And again,
what does that mean? What does that mean for installers or technicians or even shops?
So again, it gives them great flexibility in being able to use different platforms of products. They can still use the Prestige RF on an FLRS BA if they like that platform. If they prefer the DS3 or DS4 platform, they could use it on that. If one has a particular vehicle coverage that the other doesn't,
there's just down to a touchy-feely thing, which a lot of the time.
Absolutely. There's
how often, like Danny, I think made mention of that, most consumers don't care what's being put under the dash. All they're doing the entire time you're talking to them is pushing those buttons and touching the remotes. Yep, we got you, Danny. We got you.
Yeah, it does. It expands that brand coverage for the retailer, and I'm kind of it's close to me, but I think the Prestige remotes are some of the nicest looking remotes on the market today. They feel fantastic in the hand. The button pads are great. They're water resistant.
They feel high end. Is what they are. They feel high end. That's what I'll say. Now, Danny, I before we had to reconnect, the question I asked you was, following the presentation, was there any key features or points that we wanted to kind of circle back to emphasize, in your opinion?
Well, I think there's quite a few different ones, but the LoRa remotes with the really super long range, I think, is fantastic. And under the CarLink, the obviously the telematics cellular based is great, but the one button remote and the credit card remote that communicates with the cell phone. I mean, my thought is you don't see people walking down the street with their keys in their hand. They have their phone in their hand, so it's a completely logical product to use. And like Joe said, there's no monthly fee on those two SKUs, and it pretty much fills a void that that is in the market. And another key point I think is very cool is to have, give your spouse or the other person that drives the car the same functionality and the same range. Instead of a slave remote that's only one way with limited range, you're giving the customer a full LoRa remote with the extended range up to, I think it's 3 miles, Joe said. That's just great. And then my final comment is,
before you go on to that third comment, I might add, my wife would never allow that. Are you kidding me? I can't have a nicer remote with better range. That's not even an option.
Yeah, exactly.
And
buying that kind of a kit is way cheaper than the alternative, right?
Exactly.
Those slave remotes I think is fantastic. So across the board, I mean, I think the Prestige line, with that I count 9 RF kits available. And the final point I was going to make is that, Prestige in a lot of installers' eyes would say is, the bulk of it is analog. But if you have the FL cart and you plug it into any of the brains, it realistically, in my opinion, is a digital unit because it's all in one. Just because the module is not built in and it plugs in, it doesn't make it a non-digital unit. So, you still have a small platform to hide under the dashboard. And, it's easy to program as anything else. So.
Very, very cool. Before I let you go, Danny, let's make it clear for our Canadian dealers, if they're interested in Prestige, what is the process? What should they be doing?
They can send an email. They can go to jemson.com or send an email to sales@jemson.com. And the people at the office, receive those type of generic things, and they filter out, say, consumers asking questions, and they'll filter or forward the email or the question to me, and then I'll get back in touch with any of you. And I'm here to support all of the Vox DEI brands, and I'm very proud to be in this position.
There you go. Well, that's Danny Prezzo. You said it here. Call Jemsen if you're in Canada for anything Vox, not just Prestige, just to be clear. But that is your route to getting involved and becoming a Prestige dealer or any Vox product for that matter. On that note, Danny, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thanks again, Ben. Thanks, Joe. Great presentation. And hopefully my phone starts ringing and my email starts coming in.
That's what we hope.
Absolutely.
All right, Joe, just me and you, just to wind this down.
Sure.
Great job on the presentation, by the way. Some cool news with, the upcoming remote compatibility, should I call it?
Yeah.
Again, great reminder about the technical support and the support systems that are in place with Vox. At the end of the day, you gave some advice when it comes to the fact that, yes, winter is coming. Don't forget that. And how many, in what, 43 years? You've never seen it? All right.
It's always been there.
It's always been here. All right. Final message, Prestige specific. It's a brand that you hold near and dear to yourself. To your, it's been it's been with you, and you've represented it a long time.
Sure.
Just final message to dealers that we can sign off on.
If again, the dealers that use Prestige know the quality and the durability of the product. For those of you that haven't used it, I would urge you just to give it a shot. Take a look at it. Get with Jemsen. If you want a sample of the product to play around with, just let Danny know. We'll get it to you. But again, it's a great, high quality, durable, value-added product at really aggressive pricing for this starter season. You could really turn up the profitability for your shop.
There you go. You heard it from the horse's mouth. If you're interested in finding out more about Prestige products, you want to visit the following website. It's called voxelectronics.com. That is where you're going to find all the products from Vox, and more specifically, just take a look. There's logos across the top. Click on Prestige, and you'll get to all the Prestige information. And like we've been saying all along, if you're in Canada and you're a dealer, you want to get in on some Vox product, go ahead and contact our good friends at Jemsen. They are the rep in Canada in place representing Vox. All right. That was a good one, Joe. Thank you so much again for coming in. And
thanks, man. Thank you.
A fantastic remote starter season.
Absolutely.
Take care. All right. If you're into remote start, that's why you're here. You want to keep it locked on CMA Networks right through to September 15th. We are featuring a unique brand in remote starters and telematics each and every day, right through till September 15th during our remote starter and telematics sessions. Now, you might have heard we've got this awesome contest going on. It's still going to be there for a couple of weeks. We want as many of you guys to sign up as much as possible. It's free to sign up. Head over to cmanetworks.com/giveaway. We're giving away the ultimate fab experience. One winner from the US, one winner from Canada, flights, hotel, food, the whole experience in collaboration with 5-Axis Innovations and SiriusXM. Now, while you're on the website, make sure you check out all our videos. We've got tons for you to choose from. Click on Remote Start in the categories or look for your favorite trainer. Check out Joe's profile. He's got a ton of videos that we've done together as well. CMAnetworks.com. That's it for this CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Stop it. Yo, roll it down. I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?